cloud and it'll jump over to a YouTube channel that'll have all our meetings posted there for a year.
Cool.
You know, so watch what you say.
Can't wait.
Thanks for the warning.
Let's get Kathy go first, do we, or?
Yeah, you want to go ahead and fill us in, Kathy, what's going on and anything you need to know from us? We'll get you started so you can get out of here.
Sure. So I think you guys have seen emails from both myself and Jason Riddle at Mako. And for those of you who were at the district meetings, you've heard this too, but it's been a couple of years since we reached out to talk to the counties about their off-system bridge priorities. Now that we've started to see some funding opportunities and some money being distributed, we're reaching out again to make sure that any funding that MDT has or is looking for is going to the right place. And so we just want to get an update on your county priorities. We know bridge conditions can change quickly and understand that because of that, priorities can change as well. So what we're really looking for is your top three, which can be kind of hard to narrow down. And then also, you know, if there are others besides those top three, we can add those to the list as well as, you know, subsequent priorities or concerns, just so as like I said, as funding opportunities come along and different things happen, we know where Jefferson County wants to focus their attention. So that's kind of in a nutshell what we're looking for. I sent out a spreadsheet that listed all of your structures. What we did notice, and I didn't look this up, but if the county has maintenance responsibility for structures on secondary roads, I believe it's been determined that we can add those to your list if you have, you know, some counties have those and some don't. So if there are bridges that aren't on here that you're responsible for, just let me know and we can add those to your list.
Great. What kind of a timeline do we need to get the list to you, Kathy?
So we're hoping to have it by the 19th. So a few weeks, about 3 weeks from now. We're just trying to give everybody that timeline to get it wrapped up, but give you a time to take a look at your priorities and what you think is best.
So this is new money, or is this kind of the same quick fix money mixed with other money, or?
Well, there is some of that Senate Bill 536 funding remaining that has not been distributed. But as federal grants come up, you know, that's an opportunity, and I believe they may also be pushing the legislature to provide some more funding like they did last time, like Senate Bill 536. And so, you know, what we're really hoping to do is show the impact this is having on counties, and some more than others, I think, but that will help plead that case for the legislature that, hey, this is a really important place to put funding. So if we can see all these county priorities and kind of illustrate that to legislators, that could help as well. So a little bit of both, a little bit of money that's still there, a little bit of new money we're hoping for, or just grant opportunities, federal grant opportunities that MDT is seeking.
Great.
Yeah.
Do you have them in mind, Bear, or do we need?
Oh, I've got about 6.
Okay.
But I mean, a couple of them are, the bridges are okay. I mean, they're not great, but they're okay, but they're like poorly aligned. They're narrow, like, you know, they're just not good bridges. They're, you know, like the one on Boulder River Road there at Bernice, that one's been hit, I think 4 times in the 4 years I've been here, and the rail's been busted off because it's in a bad corner. It's narrow, trucks coming around the corner, they hit it, and it's bad.
Sure.
So that's one that if we could work on a realignment and widening with better rail would be fantastic. You know, boulder cutoff is still our biggest priority, just because of the weight restrictions, the condition and the size of the bridge.
Yep,
Basin Creek Bridge is one that right at the end of Courts Avenue. That's a big one for me, just because of the alignment and the width of it. It gets hit by heavy equipment all the time as well. And it's getting quite an age to it as well. It's one of our older bridges. Williams Bridge down on Jefferson River Road, narrow old bridge that we share with Gallatin County. The Goleta Gulch Bridge is one that's kind of, I think the Forest Service determined as ours, but it's an older bridge as well. That's not in horrible shape. Probably a new deck would just be okay, or some work on that. And
mhm,
then bridge there on Quaintance Lane. And I think the bridge itself is good, but it needs some deck work just to up that or remove the weight limit restriction. Is the only concern on that one. And I know there's some other bridges on your list, like the Prickly Pear up off McClellan. I mean, that bridge to me is in really good shape. Looking at the MDT ratings, most of our bridges are in really good condition.
mhm.
But the ones, some of these narrow and aged bridges are kind of my biggest priorities, just to see if we can get to where they're safer for the traveling public.
Well, and I think that's important, as you provide information like on those two specifically, you said, they're not in terrible condition, but they get hit a lot. Providing that information to MDT so they understand why, instead of saying, well, this bridge is in great shape, we're not going to touch it, but it has different issues. If we can just capture that information so that they understand that, that's good.
Yeah, those are just kind of the ones that jump out to me when I'm thinking about our bridges. I know there's some higher up Basin Creek and Cataract that needs some, just planking and work done, but they're not in bad shape. That it's stuff we can handle,
Sure.
that I think need to be replaced.
Sure.
Jumps out as a major bridge, so.
We can think about it in the next week or so,
Yeah.
or get her a list over. You just want us to email you a list, Kathy, or?
Yeah, if you just email me the information, that'd be great. That's perfect. And then I'm kind of consolidating that from all 56 counties. So,
Do you have a form to put those on, or do we just need to put the bridge name and what's wrong with it, or what do you need exactly?
There's that spreadsheet in that
I-
email.
yeah, I did send a spreadsheet. I can resend it. Or if you don't have it, sounds like Bear has it.
I have it.
Okay, very good.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, in the spreadsheet, it asks for priorities. It asks, if you have a plan to address the bridge already, that doesn't mean it's going to be out of any opportunities, but they'd like to know that, if you've put in for an MSEP grant or if you're planning to rehabilitate it, maybe they can help you out with that. And then if there's a detour less than 2 miles and you have that as a priority, why does that remain a priority when you have a short detour, basically? And, a lot of times it's traffic and, there's lots of reasons, but they're asking that does come up from MDT as well, you have a bridge right here, so why do you need this one? So just to be able to justify that to them.
6 bridges. I don't think there is a detour.
Yeah, and that's what I'm seeing the most of. Really is there aren't any detours, or the detours are extensive. So anyway, yeah, if you just want to fill that out when you get a chance and just email it back to me, that'd be great.
Good, we'll do it.
Okay, that's all I'm looking for. Quick and
All right.
easy.
You bet.
Okay,
Thank you.
Have a
thanks
good
guys.
weekend, Kathy.
Have a great day.
Thanks,
Bye.
Kathy.
All right,
Yeah.
kind of the same run, different year, huh?
More money. We'll see. Bridges.
Okay.
I'll go through our bridge list again and look at some ratings and different things, but I can't think of any other bridges that we've had any issues with or had any concerns on our inspection sheets from MDT that would raise a concern for major repairs or replacement.
Do we have any that would be important ingress egress for any of our populous areas that are wooden that might burn in all those? Okay.
Well, I mean, you know, that bridge there at Basin Creek, that to me is probably out of all of those, that's probably would be the higher priority because of all the cabins you have up Basin Creek. And if that bridge was gone, that'd be a major issue. There's not an easy way out of Basin Creek if that bridge was gone.
Right.
And it is an old wooden bridge. It's one of our older bridges. You know, structurally, it meets a satisfactory rating from MDT, but they said it's narrow. There's a lot of concerns with it.
Okay.
Boulder Cutoff, again, we all know the concerns with that one, the weight limits and whatnot. Boulder River Road, again, it's the same thing. I mean, it's an old wooden structure that's structurally sound to their satisfaction. But man, it's just when they were doing logging, they hit it 3 times that I know of, plus the one guy that lives up there hit it once. Williams Bridge, that one, again, that's structurally sound, but it's a narrow one vehicle. There is a weight limit restriction on that bridge, so that's a reason for it to be on the list. But you could argue that with Meridian Bridge being done, that you have an alternate, but it is a long ways. It's more than the 2-mile detour. Galena is one that, you know, it's an older wooden structure, a new deck, or just new runners would probably be sufficient. It's a 1 vehicle bridge, but it's also, you only have the 1 residence up there.
Right. They figured that was our bridge. I always understood it was Forest Service. We maintain it up to.
And according to everything Rory and others have told me, that somewhere along the lines they determined it was our bridge.
Really? Huh?
Yeah. So that we'll look.
It's always
into
the
that
fail
more.
safe, you know, give it to the county.
Yeah, that's,
It's a bridge.
trust me, I had a nasty phone call from MHP because somebody was complaining about the construction project on the interstate outside of Helena. But because our road intersected with it, it was our problem.
Oh, gotcha.
According to MHP.
Interesting.
Yeah. And I had to educate them on project anyways. Quainance is one that, you know, the bridge again, it's a wooden structure, not bad, but there is a weight restriction on that bridge as well. And, you know, it's a narrow single lane bridge, so. Not a super high priority. It's not a high traffic. You have an alternate egress out of the north end of the valley, but. So I mean, to me, the 3 biggest priorities would be Boulder Cutoff, Basin Creek. And then you could kind of flip a coin on Boulder River Road and the others, but.
Sounds good. We'll get that all
I'll-
packaged up and sent to Kathy.
I can definitely do that, yeah.
All right.
But I'll review the rest of them before we see if there's something I'm forgetting or missing, or look at the MDT inspections I just got.
There you go. Ask you guys too. maybe.
Yeah, you know, they keep putting that prickly pear bridge on McClellan on the list as a bridge for work, but there's nothing that comes back on the inspection report as any kind of
Deficiency.
deficiency other than, you know, a couple small cracks and some superficial cracks in the concrete, so.
Gotcha.
I know we've got, I think it might have been Waterloo. And maybe Basin Creek that we've got to go look at, just cleaning some debris that's built up around some of the girders and bases, but. Nothing that's of any concern, so.
We got any minutes this morning? Helen, did you bring those over? Just a few, huh?
We've got some minutes, Mr. Chairman.
Yeah, I read them last week.
Did you?
All right, road and bridge report. We got April 2nd, April 30th, May 7th, May 21st, May 28th,
June 4th, 11th and 18th.
June 4th, June 11th, June 18th. And that's it.
That's all the road ones.
What's that? Yeah,
That
those are all the
one.
road ones, yeah. So I'd entertain a motion to approve those.
I'd be happy to do that, Mr. Chairman.
Motion by Bob. Do we have a second?
Second, Mr. Chair.
All right, any other discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. And we have
Already
Raven
started.
Ridge meeting from May 28th. We have a meeting with the health nurse from May 28th and a meeting with the county treasurer, June 18th. those are the rest of them. I'd entertain a motion on those three.
Move to approve the other three, Mr. Chair, as aforementioned.
Thank you.
second that motion.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. You got all those, Helen?
Yep.
Oh, very good. All right, Barry, you can rip through this, I guess.
Okay, well, the only complaints we're having now is dust control.
I'm
Starting
sure.
to get dry and hot, and everybody's wondering why we haven't done it yet. And I'll start by saying, well, we never do it before the 4th, but it's gonna be a little later than normal this year if we even get to your road.
How many calls are you getting? Quite a few?
I've had 5 calls and emails in the last week, which isn't bad, but you know, it's a few.
Did you tell them to get their checkbooks out or?
You know, this road is just starting to dry up a
Well,
little
that's
bit.
it.
you know?
We get it. This isn't out of the ordinary this year. We always get calls this time of year for dust control. But you know, for the last 3 years, we have not done it before the 4th of July. It's always been after due to the rains. They just like to start complaining about this time of year. It's just a little worse when they find out that I have to tell them I don't have the money to do as much as we used to, and it's gonna take a while to get around to dust pods, and not everybody's gonna get them this year, so.
Most people understanding.
I don't know about understanding, but you know, that's what the answer is, and,
Not much we can do.
I'm gonna reach out to both Gruber and WE and just kind of let them know what my plans are with the dust pods and where, so that if they do get phone calls for dust control on our roads, they know where not to go put mag chloride down.
Okay.
And we'll kind of discuss that a little bit later down the list here, but other than that, it's been pretty quiet, knock on wood, so. Just like I said, so actually surprisingly, I've had quite a few complaints about things the last 2 weeks that were MDT issues, but they thought they were county issues. So the MDT keeps pushing people to us. So, I don't know.
You hear anything from down in Whitehall yet on the dust? Cedar Hills.
Just Tom had called and asked if we were gonna do it, but nothing as far as a complaint.
Something. I haven't either, so I just asked.
Just crew updates, Montana City today has been out, just doing some last patching around various areas, got another load of asphalt. Should have everything around the north half pretty well wrapped up with asphalt today. And then they've been out just kind of doing some spot blading in various areas, Forest Park and a few other areas, just little areas instead of entire roads that kind of keep hard on us. Boulder guys finished upgrading in Elk Park yesterday, got all the equipment back up here. Today they're out cleaning up and painting over a bunch of graffiti on the Red Bridge.
Really?
It's been a problem. It's something you don't notice unless you get down underneath and see, but finally it got to a point where there was some extremely offensive stuff this time, and so we're just gonna paint over it. We're looking into a product that you can spray the concrete with that basically makes it so that paint doesn't stick to it. So we're looking into some new product for that. But yeah,
You pre-treat it?
pre-treated, yeah.
Put a camera down there.
Yeah. So hopefully we can figure out something on that. I mean, it's, most of it, I mean, it's not good, but most of it was just harmless fun graffiti, but some of this stuff this time got pretty offensive, so. Whitehall guys, did some essentially training, had the new guy out on Dorton Mountain last week, getting him some time on the blade to kind of see what his skill level was, got that cleaned up, and they were working on Sheep Camp Road this week. So I talked with dust pods this morning, and one of our big, as you guys well know, big complaints with dust is the Wicks Road with the DEQ, and I got a letter from the DEQ yesterday, and he says he fully gets it. He doesn't know why we do that, but he was passing the information along. That road is one that is a good candidate for their roto mill to test that process out. Talked to Wayne from Dust Pods this morning about his availability. He says he's looking about August 6th, I think it was, or August 2nd, they'd be done with where they're at. And that their machine would be available to come out here for as long as we wanted to basically rent it, their machine for. I've got a bid for an estimate. So we can either rent it for a week or we can rent it for a month. or by the week or for a month. So it's an average of about a mile a day, so with this machine. Just the machine cost, not the operator and the other cost associated with it for a week is about $15,000. So by the time you do 2 weeks, you might as well do it for a month, which would be able to do about 20 miles of road.
How much is a month?
About all the costs, the estimate he sent me was about 57,000,
57 for a month.
which is a big chunk, but I kind of snuck a bunch of money into the bridge professional services in the expectation that we might be able to do this fall.
Do we wanna invest this much in dust pods before we've actually tried it, or are we confident enough from other counties? That-
Oh, I'm confident enough. Plus, I'd like to get it out there and put it on some of our roads. And so my thought process is if we do Jefferson City area, and if we did it for a month, we would be able to do the entirety of Corbin and Wicks Road. So do all the chip seal, all of Wicks Road, all the way up into the town of Wicks. Spring Street from Main Street all the way up Depot Road, that we've had a lot of complaints there with the washouts down past the fire. Up around the dump, basically do all of our stuff in Jefferson City. And that would give us a really good base for experimenting on. But that's also gonna eat up about half of that time to do all of that.
Is that about 10 miles worth?
Yeah, it's roughly about 9 miles, yeah. And then we could look at, and then we can look at some other areas around here and some other road or Whitehall and see what we want to do. And maybe we only do 2 weeks, you know, but we're still 30 something thousand, but like, once you pay for 2 weeks, you might as well do a month. I'm like, yeah, you don't understand how important 20 grand is to me. So I think that I'd like to go ahead and commit to getting him in here. But I think I might just do the 2 weeks. Cause it's also gonna take our entire crew by the time we do blades and water trucks and traffic control. And it'd be really hard for us to commit our entire crew to one project for a month
Right.
and not be able to get out and do other work.
It'd be a great test.
Yeah, well, I think I'm confident in what the product will do. And I think up there, the one, you know, Spring Street's a problem with part of it's chip seal, part of it's dirt. We can't fix it until we tear it all out. Depot keeps washing down because it's so loose and coming apart. You know, we all know Corbin Road, it's just falling apart. You know, we know that one would be a great test of what it was gonna look like when we do a chip seal back to gravel. And then Wicks Road, because it's so far away from the shop, we're having to blade that 3 or 4 times a summer, and it's so far from the shop that it's an hour or so one way just to get a blade down there. So if we don't have to take a blade to Jefferson City more than once a year, it's gonna save us a lot of time. Plus,
Is Spring Street the one right up through Jefferson City?
yeah, between that runs past Teams up around the dump, it ties into Depot. up
Right.
the hill.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think it would alleviate a lot of problems that we have in that area, plus it would pretty much keep us out of that area most of the summer.
It's worth a try, yeah. Do you have to commit for 2 weeks, or can you just commit to when the job's done? Like if it takes you 10 days instead of 14?
Yeah, I think that's kind of what we would do, is say,
Okay.
I'm gonna have this many miles of road that we're gonna do. And
Okay.
then however much time it takes is what we would bill it out
Do
to.
they give you an operator for the thing?
Yeah,
Okay,
that's part of their cost, is their operator and his, you know, basically per diem for his expenses for room and board and travel. And then the equipment rental and transportation of the equipment.
good. Yeah, that would be a great test for it.
And, yeah, I'm confident what the material will do, you know, seeing it out on the roads and talking to other counties. There's so many counties around the state now that are using it, and everybody's in love with it.
Good.
Yeah. The one thing that I talked to, Toole County, he says, make sure it's not gonna rain for a few days
Mhm.
afterwards, cause they had a mess.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah, so I will get with him and we'll get something worked out and make sure we kind of lock it in a little bit better on the expense, but I think it's definitely worthwhile to do. Yeah, we could go in and do just the Wicks with a grader and the way we were gonna do it. But I think seeing what it'll do on these chip seal roads will kind of help us know moving forward what we want to do for the rest of the county.
I have to agree, cause I had two people approach me Saturday over there through that memorial. And one was right there in Jeff City, like you said, and then of course Corbin Road.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea.
Corbin Road, yeah.
Sawmill would be a good one to get to.
Be lovely to get rid of that problem.
Not yet,
Not yet.
not until I know for a fact it's a county road.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
You know, if I knew for a fact it was, I'd be over there at the same time.
Which road?
Sawmill.
Hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, we could fix that corner, boy, that'd be nice.
Until we know that it's county, I don't feel comfortable putting that kind of money into it.
True, yeah, I agree.
When you get ready to do that, are you gonna post it in the paper or anything?
Yeah, we'll get an announcement put out here probably 2 weeks before we do it, get it posted up and,
The usual down
yeah, get it out on a few different resources, just because it'll be down to one lane traffic in that area. And you know, it'll be, about a mile, we'll probably run a pilot car or something
Yeah,
through there.
Corey, yeah, tip that claim. Did you wanna bring that up with?
Yeah, we can talk about that. That was, bears running into the, what was it, Century Link line? I guess we were at fault there. That wasn't one of those where the line was too,
That's one of our arguments, and that one, it's one of those where we could fight it and we could be a lot more in hours. And it was kind of,
didn't we like just give them, told them last time we weren't gonna do it, and I don't know if we ever heard from them.
well, we've had a few of them. I mean, we've hit a few utilities, but this one was. We had it marked, we were digging around a boulder. And their claim is that when we pulled the boulder, they pulled the line. Even though the line wasn't where it was marked. The work we were doing, we should have known it was there. And we've been fighting with them locally for about a month on it. And,
I thought it was like a grading one where the line's not deep enough and we hit it every time.
no, this one was deep enough. It just was off the line by a few inches. So they give you a 24-inch cushion on their locates, and this one was off by a couple inches. And they say that the line was pushed by when we were moving this boulder. And if we wouldn't have moved the boulder, it would have been marked right. And we're like, no. And it's,
Okay,
yeah. We have another one that Steve's gonna be handling because we were grading and hit another one, and I'm not paying that one.
right, okay.
So,
We're so good to them. I think they should just comp those kind of charges.
you know, my claim is that they didn't put them into the proper depth according to standards, that I shouldn't be liable to.
Yeah, that's right.
That's exactly.
That's right.
Yep. But, so yeah, well, if it's not a legitimate, we don't pay it.
Okay, good.
Just so you're aware, there was a bit of a washout on the Boulder River Road up there in Bernice, just west of, whatever it is, the V-Bar branch. Just the slope is given out, kind of a weird deal. It's just a little trough slid out. We're gonna go up there Monday. We got a plan. We got permission from Gary Carlson to get equipment in through his property to come in from the bottom, and we can go in and dump in a bunch of rock and fill it back in and build that back up on Monday and Tuesday of next week. We've got a bunch of signs and cones up there now, just so the traveling public over the weekend. But I got a bunch of guys gonna be gone tomorrow for the holiday that we don't have enough manpower to do it.
Right.
And then I'm sure Mr. Haggerty is well aware, but that Hot Springs Road in Whitehall that we did millings on a few years ago. We've tried numerous things to try to keep a section of about 1,000 yards of that millings together, and no matter what we do, it keeps falling apart. And I don't know if it's bad millings or if there's water under the road or what the situation is. When they're done with this repair on the in Bernice, we're gonna take a couple of machines down and do some exploration work and kind of get down under the road and see if we've got water. So kind of dig down and just see what the problem is, so we know what we're working with, and then we're gonna make a plan from there, whether we gotta dig it out and rebuild a section of road, or if it's just bad millings that we can tear up and rejuvenate with some emulsion oil and lay it back down. But we've put some asphalts over it to patch it before, you know, we've tried a few various things and just nothing's helped.
Use some fabric on it once too.
In the one spot we did, but there's just nothing we've done has worked. And
Yeah,
so instead of
it's-
just kind of
That
guessing.
that ground
across-
is sub-irrigated or something.
Well, this is up on a rocky
Oh, is it?
bench and it's kind of in a weird spot.
Hmm.
Nothing makes sense as to why it's doing it.
Spring or something like that.
Through there.
Might be bad millings, not enough
Yeah, I think
binder or something.
it's kind of what we're leaning towards is bad millings, that just dirty, bad millings. But we just don't want to guess and throw more money at it. So we're gonna go do some exploration work next week, get down underneath, see what's going on. Drill a couple holes in with the auger, see if there is water underneath it and come up with a plan to repair that.
Wow.
And then McCarty Creek reroute, after those guys are done there, I'm gonna have a couple of guys go work on that next week to get that corner fixed up. And once we get that done, we'll get some rocks and barricades on the old road and make sure the new road. Probably have them just go scrape it with a blade or something to get the grass and whatnot off, just so it looks more like a road
Okay.
going through there. So hopefully by the end of next week, that'll be done.
You got some big rocks up there you can throw in the old road.
I'm sure we can find a couple.
Should be rocks up there.
Yeah, there's a couple of rocks, so I'll run up there with them probably later today or Monday. Before I take off on vacation and make sure they know what the exact plan is.
You're going on vacation too?
I'll be gone all next week.
I think it's summer or something.
Yeah, you'd think it is summer, wouldn't you? Yeah.
I'm gone on my fish camp, out of phone service. And we'll forget all about you guys.
Is there a smile I see on your face?
Yep, yep, absolutely. So then the last thing I just kind of wanted to talk on was our transport truck, and I mentioned a while ago that we lost the motor in that. We were working on it. Or kind of working on a deal, R&R Diesel out of Helena had 3 used trucks coming in that they had purchased, they were willing to make a trade on with ours and cut us a good deal. Decent trucks, but none of them were fantastic. That made us jump up and down. So we decided just to get the motor in ours rebuilt, because we just put a new transmission in it a few months ago. We know what the rest of the truck is. The estimate was about 27,000 to get that motor rebuilt by CAD. R&R did offer us one of those trucks at 21,000. That's a 2011 Kenworth. It does need a transmission, but it's got a good motor with low miles. And he said that he'd be willing to take 2 payments in 2 years, 11 and 10,000 if we were interested. A second transport truck or tractor is something we've been talking about for a while, because it seems like it never fails that we need our belly dump trailer and a transport trailer the same day. But it would be nice to also get a second belly dump at some point in time. So I'd like to, once we kind of get through the budget cycle and see how things look, that may be an option we look at is. New transmission for that was about $9,000 done and installed, so it's not outside of the realm of, for 30 grand. Getting a 2011 truck with only 400,000 miles on it is pretty good. If you look for something comparative, you're looking at about 75,000-80,000, so. Would be a good option for us to get another truck and have a spare at least, but.
How much was the new truck?
Well,
21 and
21
9 for
plus
the
about
trade.
8 or 9 for a transmission
Yeah,
and
so
clutch.
30 grand.
30. But we can break up that 21 over a couple of years if need be.
Okay.
He's not hurting to get him the money for him. He just said if we're interested in it, it was an option.
Okay. That's a 2012.
2011.
2011. Okay.
We've been looking, just kind of keeping our eyes open for a good second tractor. Because we would like to get a couple more belly dumps in our fleet, because they're sure nice for moving gravel. So it would be a good,
Would that ever work as a backup for solid waste?
no,
No.
it doesn't have a hook on it.
So,
Yeah, they had another truck that I was gonna mention to Mike, and then when we test drove, because it was the right length and everything was what he needed. But the motor was not good in it, and so he would have been another, 50 grand for a motor in it. I don't think he was at the point where.
Yeah, because we're really hurting for a truck.
He would have been buying the truck and a motor, it'd probably be 75 grand plus another, who knows how much to buy the hook and hydraulics and everything to set it up, so it still would have been 100 plus for a
It's
truck.
outside of our purse, you know.
They're not cheap anymore. I know Lewis and Clark's new plow trucks they just had built were about 325,000 for what we're running.
All right,
It'll be a while.
anybody got anything for Bear?
Yeah,
Concern.
they always come out of the Whitehall area.
This happened on the 27th, up on, Cottonwood Road. I don't even know if you know. Evidently, the pump was stuck into, the water users, irrigation ditch. Are you aware of that?
Cottonwood.
Yeah, and they drove up there and were wanting to know, I mean, just saw that sitting there being, pumping the water without them having any knowledge of it. I mean, you may not even know. But they were a little
Was it
upset.
on Cottonwood or on Doherty?
Well, it's up that way. It's wherever that water user is. I think it has to do with Candlestick Water.
It's Lenny anyway.
Yeah, it's Lenny,
Yeah, I'm not sure if they even know that.
I just wonder, could you have them next time, just reach out, that's all that
Yeah.
Lenny's asking. To let him know that what he's gonna be doing.
Is that on the
Where I'm
Whitehall
looking,
side or on the?
it would be on, where Cottonwood is, it's on the north side of the Cardwell interchange. You go, that runs
Oh.
parallel, go in the back way,
Mhm.
yeah, looks towards Milligan Canyon.
Hmm.
That little ditch there, I'm pretty sure it's just there, right, she comes through that bridge. But yeah, he was a little upset about it being a water user also.
Who pays for the water?
They do, that person does,
It's
he's,
not by the gallon.
I don't know how they do it, but I mean,
Then
Then-
they're not gonna be missing.
then DNRC gets into it, that's the problem.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember if that's where we've always gotten water, because there's generally everywhere we put the pump every year is where we've always put it, and they've always had permission, so as it said, like, we had the issue 2 years ago on the south end of Milligan Canyon where there was a new property owner. The guys didn't know that, they put it in, the guy came out screaming and yelling, we had a conversation, he's like, oh, okay, misunderstanding. So if this is somewhere they've never put it before, I don't know why.
That I don't know.
It
It's
could have
just,
been my new guy that just didn't know.
well, that's what I'm wondering, that's why I thought,
Yeah, I'll talk to my guy, so
appreciate it.
I figured it out. Yeah,
That's all they're asking.
yeah, we usually don't put them into ditches unless we have permission first. Sometimes that permission might have been from 20 years ago. but-
Right.
You know, that was Lenny's father, probably, so. That could be.
Anything else for Bear, commissioners?
I don't have anything.
I don't have anything either. You did a great job.
Doing a good
I don't know
job,
about that.
doing a good job. Blading my way yesterday.
You don't want to send your second in command for a meeting next week, huh?
I think he's gonna be busy. I can have him swing by.
No, that's okay.
I've already done the minutes.
Yeah, I think he's gonna be. Between that washout on Bernice and this project on Hot Springs and who knows what else is gonna pop up, and. I was planning on working Monday and he's trying to talk me out of it. It's like, we'll see what happens, so.
Very good.
Okay, well,
Thank
thank
you,
you,
Bear.
gentlemen.
Yeah, thank you.
I'll
Blair.
see you in a couple weeks.
Enjoy your vacation.
Yep.
Oh, trust me, I will.
Good time.
I'm gonna have a 5-gallon jug of vodka and lemon sitting next to it.
Yeah, I'll be checking your sanity when you come back.
Oh, it'll be